Hi, today we have Andrew Wong.
Hey, Vincent.
And Vincent.
Hey.
To tell you what happens on both sides of the harbor.
That's right. That's right. That's right. The guy from Harvard Times.
And I will pick a keyword for today as well.
All right.
Relating to the political affairs in Hong Kong.
Okay.
All right. So what kind of public affairs we have this
Okay,
week?
guys. Monday, first thing we're going to be looking at our fearless leader, the chief executive, C.Y. Leung, back in action after his little holiday in August. He's heading up to the Pan-Pro River Delta Regional Cooperation and Development Forum and Trade Fair.
PRD.
Yes,
PRD
yeah,
Trade
it's all
Fair.
about integration with the PRD. Gregory So, secretary, is going with him. And so they're going to be going up there. They're going to be doing a little bit of the dog and pony show, you know, kind of the public things. I'm sure there'll be lots of nice speeches about how we all have to cooperate and some trade numbers and mention of the bridge and the two Macau-Zhuhai bridge and the train and all that. And that'll be all the public stuff. Later in the day, then they have the serious meetings, right, where the top Hong Kong guys are going to sit down with all their PRD counterparts and they'll talk about, region. It won't be all Hong Kong focused, but they will get a chance to talk about PRD integration issues.
Yeah.
What's interesting there is that a couple of different things. Earlier this year, the Hong Kong Journalists Association, their annual report, had two complaints. Number one, that the Hong Kong government was not speaking to the media, was issuing too many statements. And number two, that Hong Kong journalists who were getting beat up in the mainland were not getting enough support from the Hong Kong government. Well, on the first issue, apparently CY's office stepped up and said to their mainland counterparts, you have to give us an opportunity to speak to the media, right? And that was not part of the original plan, but they stepped in and said, we're from Hong Kong and we, have to have this dialogue with the people. So it does seem like they've heard this report. And I think I've seen a bit of a change, and there's some evidence of it here at this meeting. As for the second issue, these are the kind of things the government might want to raise behind closed doors. If there's an incident with Hong Kong journalists, can they establish some kind of a protocol for notifying the Hong Kong government and what should be done? I'm guessing a lot of these things happen at the really local level. A couple of policemen get overzealous, or some local officials that decide to go in and lay the hammer down on some Hong Kong journalists. But if they can talk to people at a higher level to say, okay, when that happens, what do we do? What's the reaction? Can you guys give us a call so we can?
You need a communication system.
I think that's right.
And you also need an external communication platform as well.
Yeah.
The communication system means that if there's something happen to journalists in Hong Kong, what's the official mechanism between the Pearl River Delta's governments and Hong Kong government?
Yeah.
And if they can set up a system instead of doing it case by case, I think it's much more effective. You can get back to the journalists much faster, easier to follow up, and I think such a system is good. And actually, such a system can actually co-create by governments within the Pearl River Delta. And I think this aside, you also need to communicate to the outside world. I mean, after you have made your inquiries, after they have done their investigations, how are you going to report it? And, through what means to report it? And we should increase transparency on both sides of the river.
Yeah, exactly. A good place to start that dialogue is in a private session like this. This isn't like a private shady deal that when it comes to public it'll be a big problem. It'll be like, oh, that's probably an appropriate thing for them to talk about.
I agree. And I think you mentioned PRD.
Yes.
And I think that's the keyword for today.
Yeah.
But I have two interpretations of PRD.
Okay.
The first interpretation is Pearl River Delta, obviously.
All right.
And the second one is actually PR, which means public relations.
Okay.
And dialogue for the D.
Okay. All right. Let's go with that. PRD.
PRD is the keyword for today.
All
Thank
right.
you, Andrew.
Awesome.
Thank you.